faithfully delivering value by interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally Talks Books. Today, we're exploring the book Reading People Countlessly with the subtitle Breaking Through Tough Moments in Communication. When it comes to communication issues, what do you think are the most common obstacles you face? Feel free to leave comments and share your thoughts on communication challenges. The authors of this book, Lawrence Allison and Emily Allison, have done extensive research on communication. For over 30 years, they've trained organizations like the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the U.S. Army Research Center, and the Japan Police Research Center, teaching law enforcement how to interrogate suspects effectively. The couple found that in practice, many interrogators use torture to get information from suspects, but torture rarely makes them talk, and if they do, the info might be false. Based on their research, the couple developed a set of communication strategies for interrogation. The core of this strategy is building rapport. Rapport is what the English title report refers to. It's a state of mutual understanding and connection between people. Simply put, rapport is established when two people truly connect with each other. Once rapport is built between an interrogator and a suspect, the suspect shares more info willingly, and it's more accurate. In 2012, the Allison couple was invited to join the high-value detainee interrogation group formed by U.S. President Obama. Members come from the FBI, CIA, and Department of Defense, making it the world's top center for interrogation research. There, they conducted over 2,000 hours of real interrogations, proving that rapport also gets reliable intel from terrorists. Today, this strategy is part of training for UK counterterrorism interviewers, and its essentials are in the book Reading People Countlessly we're discussing. The book has 10 chapters and 160,000 characters. The Addison couple details in the book how to build rapport and choose the right communication model based on it. Of course, the Allison couple's strategies aren't just for interrogation. They help us tackle everyday communication issues too. Whether at work or home, people can start from rapport to communicate effectively. Next, I'll break down the main content of this book for you in two parts. First, why is rapport important? What elements does it consist of? Second, how to choose the right communication model. Let's start with the first part. Part 1, why is rapport important? What elements does it consist of? The authors point out that humans are naturally social animals, and our health and happiness largely come from relationships with others. American journalist Dan Buettner wrote a book called Blue Zones, referring to areas with very long average lifespans. Buettner found that people in blue zones, besides healthy eating and regular exercise, also share a common trait. Folks of all ages actively engage in social activities. Building positive interpersonal relationships creates a sense of belonging, making people feel part of a larger community. This makes life feel more meaningful. When someone faces difficulties and challenges, like having a child, getting sick, or losing a job, relationships provide support to help them through tough times. Combined, these factors lead to greater happiness and longer lives. You could say positive relationships are an innate human desire, but when we encounter threats, intimidation, or coercion, it causes anxiety, stress, and leads to hostility and resistance. Some people think threats and intimidation work. For example, bosses might threaten employees with firing if they don't work hard. Parents might threaten children with punishment if they don't wake up on time. These threats might be effective short-term, but long-term, they create endless problems. In retaliation, people may obey superficially, but resist secretly. Employees might slack off or badmouth the company. Kids might distance themselves or test limits elsewhere, escalating conflicts and causing new issues. For suspects, threats and intimidation are even less useful because confessing or sharing information is inherently against their interests. If interrogators provoke resistance in suspects, they might get no information at all. If you want others to genuinely agree and cooperate with you, not resent or oppose you, you need to learn to build rapport, the foundation of positive relationships. The authors believe rapport consists of 4 elements, and understanding these teaches us how to build it. Now let's dive into these 4 elements. The first element is honesty, meaning conveying clear information with sincere and calm attitude. Dishonest communication easily triggers resistance. Many interrogators say during torture, "We'll stop if you confess truthfully." In such cases, some suspects may reveal information. Interrogators then think, since they've started talking, why not continue torture to extract more? Eventually, suspects realize interrogators won't stop regardless. So, suspects resolve never to cooperate again. Truth always surfaces eventually.
Thus, many suspects mentally prepare to never talk under torture when arrested.
Torture rarely yields reliable intel. It only fuels distrust and resistance. Beyond avoiding deception, honesty also means expressing opinions directly. Many fear direct expression causes conflict, so they suppress needs or hint indirectly. But these approaches solve nothing. Take Xiao Wang. He collaborates on projects, yet colleagues present them as solo work in meetings. Xiao Wang wants confrontation but fears creating spectacle. So he expresses resentment passively, bad-mouthing or cold shouldering, which solves nothing as colleagues keep stealing credit. Ultimately, solving problems requires facing them. Direct expression can avoid conflict. The authors suggest clarifying communication goals beforehand. Xiao Long should decide public apology or simply future credit acknowledgement. After setting goals, consider how to phrase it. Xiao Wang must focus on solving problems, not venting. Avoid aggressive or cold tones that escalate conflict. Xiao Wang can practice with others to ensure his expression is both direct and calm. Xiao Wang could tell his colleague, "When you present the plan to the team, you make it seem like it's entirely your idea, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. I know you drafted the plan, and I don't mean to diminish your effort, but I hope you'll acknowledge my contributions to the team. That's really important to me." The second element of rapport is empathy, which means truly understanding someone's thoughts and feelings. Developing empathy requires going through 3 stages. The first stage is self-awareness, expressing your own thoughts and feelings. This sounds simple, but some people genuinely can't do it. They can't explain their actions. They just say they acted impulsively. If someone can't understand their own thoughts and feelings, how could they understand others? To improve self-awareness, we can practice daily exercises. For example, after doing something, reflect on your thoughts and feelings about it and express them. When communicating with others, share your thoughts and feelings to build empathy. The second stage is perspective taking. Imagine how you'd feel if what happened to someone else happened to you. Many marital arguments come from misunderstandings, like a husband thinking his job is hard while his stay-at-home life has it easy. What he doesn't see, his wife gets up early to cook, handles endless chores, and tutoring kids is exhausting, no easier than working. When spouses feel misunderstood and unappreciated, it breeds resentment and conflict. Harvard Medical School researchers found that when spouses feel their partner tries to understand them, even imperfectly, they're more satisfied with the marriage. The third stage in developing empathy is affective empathy. Perspective taking involves imagination. Affective empathy goes further. We need to enter another's mind, understanding their perspective through their values, identity, and life experiences. Take a 13-year-old heartbroken after a breakup. Through perspective taking, the father might say, "Plenty of fish in the sea," an adult perspective that doesn't resonate. True empathy requires seeing through the child's eyes to understand their pain. And this total empathy requires seeing through the child's eyes to understand their pain. Dad could say, "When I was young and heartbroken, I felt like life was all gray and lost interest in everything." Hearing this, the child would feel understood and be more open to dad's other advice. Remember, understanding someone's values and motives Knowing what matters to them doesn't mean agreeing with them. When you acknowledge their feelings and thoughts, they'll drop their defenses and be willing to build rapport. Law enforcement empathizes with terrorists and murderers to later guide their behavior. That's what rapport enables. The third element is autonomy, the ability to freely choose and act, a fundamental psychological need. The authors found during interrogations that a suspect's autonomy determines their willingness to cooperate. And when interrogators threaten suspects, they feel their autonomy is violated, triggering resistance and refusal. Conversely, when interrogators respect autonomy while combining honesty and empathy to build rapport, suspects are more likely to share needed intel. The authors cite a case study. In 2010, Canadian Air Force Colonel Russell Williams was suspected of sexual assault and murder. Detective Jim Smith interrogated him under immense pressure. He was investigating another woman's disappearance, with evidence suggesting Williams held her captive. The interrogation lasted about 4 hours. Smith never pounded the table or insulted him. Williams wasn't promised leniency for confessing. Smith told Williams he could request breaks to consult a lawyer anytime and refused to answer questions. Throughout, Smith spoke directly at a steady pace, presenting evidence like tire tracks matching Williams' truck near the victim's home. He'd ask questions without pressure, giving Williams time to decide whether to answer. Essentially, Smith created an atmosphere blending freedom with pressure. Williams realized escape was impossible. Refusing to confess would only worsen his sentence. Combined with trust in Smith, he finally confessed and revealed where the missing woman was held. This applies to other life situations too. Whether getting parents to see a doctor or kids to eat veggies, forcing them backfires. Real change comes from within. We should listen to their thoughts and feelings, show respect and care, while giving space for independent decisions. Achieving this requires rapport's fourth element, feedback. This means summarizing what's said to deepen conversation and uncover insights. Feedback is rapport's core element. Honesty, empathy, and autonomy are typically conveyed through feedback. The book outlines 4 feedback techniques. First technique, paraphrasing, identifying and repeating key information from their words. This makes them feel heard, encouraging openness. The authors illustrate with a couple discussing cohabitation. The guy says, "Timing doesn't feel right yet. Things are fine as they are." This vague statement lacks clear reasons. To understand him, the girl could paraphrase using "fine as they are." She could say, "You think things are fine as they are?" This prompts natural explanation. He might respond, "My long work hours make my current place ideal. Short commute saves time. We should save for a down payment before buying together." Knowing this, she can adjust her approach. Second technique, avoid arguments. When attacked, control emotions. Don't engage. Arguments destroy relationships. Instead, identify the thought behind their attack. This prompts deeper explanation. Many terrorists believe they're righteous. They attack interrogators. They might say, "People starve and lose homes while you watch TV eating fish and chips." Defending yourself just fuels endless arguments. The authors suggest interrogators respond, "You feel most people only care about their own lives and won't help those suffering. So what have you done for others?" Faced with this, terrorists explain their values, giving interrogators valuable insights. Third technique, reinforce positives. People naturally prefer positive feedback. Criticism triggers resistance. So affirm strengths to guide better choices. Even with extreme behavior, resist criticism, find redeeming qualities. One client with domestic violence sought the author's help. He'd beaten his wife for phone gabbing while their daughter cried. The authors identified his strength, deep concern for his daughter's need for love. Hearing this, he revealed being sent to foster care at 6 due to maternal neglect, his core trauma. Seeing his wife neglect their daughter triggered his outburst. This breakthrough revealed potential for change. To drive change, use the fourth technique, highlight contradictions. When actions contradict stated values, gently point this out to spark self-reflection and motivation. Avoid critical tones. They provoke defensiveness. With the husband, instead of condemning violence, the authors ask gently, "You want your daughter to feel loved."
What was your daughter doing when you attacked your wife? Well,
After long silence, he whispered, "She was screaming. I made it worse. I don't know why I did that." Seeing his contradiction gave him motivation to change. To summarize part one, for genuine cooperation, build rapport through these principles. Rapport consists of four elements: honesty, empathy, autonomy, and feedback. Building on rapport, people need to flexibly choose different communication models based on situations to achieve desired results. The authors summarize four communication models using animal representatives: T-Rex for handling conflicts, lion for leading others, monkey for building cooperation, and mouse for listening and following. These models are based on the four elements of rapport, each with different focuses, suitable contexts, and both positive and negative impacts. Now, in part two, we'll discuss how to choose the appropriate communication model. The first communication model is T-Rex. When facing conflicts and needing to challenge others, you can use the T-Rex model for communication. T-Rex firmly expresses its own needs without backing down, stays calm to avoid arguments, and actively resolves problems. As mentioned earlier, the example of Detective Smythe interrogating the kidnapping suspect. Smith calmly presented evidence, clearly stated his demands, created an atmosphere of freedom with pressure, and let the suspect choose. This is a positive T-Rex example. Note that many people turn into negative T-Rexes in communication, showing strong aggression to attack others. This destroys rapport, easily provoking hostility and resistance, leading to more conflicts. If an interrogator is a negative T-Rex, they might threaten or deceive suspects. If a company boss is a negative T-Rex, they become a dictator, never seeking opinions when making decisions, only demanding absolute obedience, and using intimidation and threats to manipulate employees. How to become a positive T-Rex? The authors believe the core is honesty and empathy. Determine your goals and non-negotiable bottom lines. When expressing goals and bottom lines to others, be simple and direct, stay calm and unemotional, and defending your bottom lines doesn't mean ignoring others' needs. Through empathy, we understand others' thoughts and feelings to find mutually acceptable solutions. Overall, T-Rex is hard to master. The authors don't recommend it, except in emergencies, as most life problems can be solved with other models. The second communication model is Lion, typically team leaders who positively inspire others, assign tasks based on individual strengths, and earn genuine respect through competence. The lions give orders. They're not domineering. They listen to diverse opinions and empower people to act independently. If the team makes mistakes, lions take responsibility. Under lion leadership, people unlock their full potential and become their best selves. The authors share a personal example: a college professor who invested time understanding students' passions and concerns. This professor gave clear guidance, encouraging students to pursue excellence courageously. That care and trust inspired the author's academic journey. Unlike T-Rex focusing on personal demands, what one wants or rejects, lions guide others' actions, prioritizing collective goals over personal desires. Lions usually become T-Rexes only during unresolvable conflicts. The lion model can also have negative impacts. Negative lions disregard their team's autonomy.
They see subordinates as tools, set unrealistic goals, scrutinize harshly, and make people feel inadequate, crushing team confidence and growth.
To be a positive lion leader, remember, your goal is to inspire autonomy and growth, not force obedience. Start from this mindset and you'll become a positive lion. The third model is monkey, used when building cooperation with others. Monkeys interact with friendliness, equality, and warmth, creating pleasant experiences. Others naturally respond in kind. This atmosphere fosters cohesive teams that collaborate to achieve goals. To practice monkey communication, the authors suggest 2 tips. First, listen actively, since people love discussing themselves. So, in conversations, we should give most time to the other person, letting them discuss what interests them. We just need to guide appropriately using feedback techniques at the right moments. We can paraphrase their words to draw out more thoughts or highlight their strengths and summarize their values. This makes them feel heard and understood, building goodwill toward us. The second tip, share similar experiences. They quickly build closeness. Imagine 2 strangers who both endured months of lockdown during pandemic restrictions. They'd instantly have endless topics to discuss. Through this, the relationship naturally deepens. If unsure about shared experiences, start with universal themes like work or family struggles, but avoid monologuing when sharing. The authors believe we shouldn't spend over 1/3 of conversation time talking about ourselves. Focus energy on listening. Like other models, Monkey has downsides. Overemphasizing friendliness and equality and erode team boundaries and necessary tension. If a boss and subordinate become close friends, the subordinate might think mistakes carry no consequences. The boss might go easy, fearing to damage the friendship, making it hard to address issues openly. So when using monkey mode, bosses must clarify. Work is work, friendship is friendship. Draw clear boundaries between colleague and friend roles to protect team goals. The fourth model is mouse, characterized by humility, excelling as listeners and followers. In communication, mice surrender choice to others, making them feel valued, thus sparking autonomy. The authors note that positive mice build rapport more easily than other models. Earlier, we said leaders are mostly lions, but sometimes must become mice to listen to employee needs, invite company feedback, or let them choose roles and schedules. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that when employees have more choice at work, they're happier, more motivated, and more productive. In parent-child relationships, parents should also learn to be mice, giving children choices to arrange their lives and studies within their capabilities. Additionally, parent-child relationships face more conflicts than workplace ones. If parents behave inappropriately during conflicts, like hitting or cursing, they must have the courage to apologize, which is also humility. Some parents fear apologizing undermines their authority, but rapport is the foundation of relationships. If parents refuse to apologize for mistakes, children see them as unreasonable tyrants, eroding trust and breeding future conflicts. When parents apologize, they model accountability, deepening children's trust and willingness to listen. Meanwhile, we must avoid becoming negative mice. Negative mice lack conviction, appear weak and irresponsible, making trust hard to earn. To be positive mice, we must learn to be positive lions. Lions' conviction and strong responsibility counterbalance mice's weaknesses. To summarize part 2, building on rapport, we choose 4 communication models for different situations. For conflicts, be T-Rex, resolving disputes with honesty and empathy. Leaders are often lions, guiding others through competence and motivation. For cooperation, choose monkey, using listening and shared experiences to connect. Mice build rapport fastest. Surrendering choice makes others feel valued. With this, we've covered most of reading people countlessly. The authors believe rapport is the path to happiness, helping us understand others, reduce conflict, and create a better society. We can strengthen communication skills and build rapport through learning and practice. At the same time, we shouldn't put too much pressure on ourselves. And we should allow ourselves to make mistakes in relationships. Most can be fixed. By investing effort in nurturing important relationships, we'll reap rich rewards. After this episode, do you have new perspectives on communication? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. All right, that's reading people countlessly. This concludes our exploration of this book for you.
Find summary notes below the audio. See you next time.